Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Chemda.
I'm Keith Malley. The great Billy Wayne Davis is here. Hello, Billy.
Hello, gorgeouses.
Billy, we have a lot to get to, of course. Let me
Okay.
mention this first to everybody, if I may. New Q&A, of course, in your VIP package. 3 hours, 40 minutes. We had a lot to say. Explain Newsy's show to everybody, Chemda.
Well, Newsy's show, we have 18 years of Keith and the Girl, 18 years of this show. So we go back in time. Let's say today's March 15th. If we're recording today, you're going to hear a little bit of all of our March 15th. The way we do it is Chew listens to the first 10 minutes of those shows, reports back. We kind of give the hot goss of the time and compare to what we do now. And then he listens to a full one of those episodes and tells us the whole thing. So it's a lot of reminiscing. It's a lot of old catalog, and kind of catching you up with the current stuff.
Right. It's a trick of what can I say? It's like, hey, we can't help it. This is older. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and he does a great job. So be sure to check that out in your VIP package. And if you have VIP, you have a free ticket to this Sunday's The Game Show. And there's going to be hosting. It's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure you check it out. If you want to get a ticket because you're not a VIP member, that'd be a goofy way to go, but you're allowed to do that. How do they do that, Chemda?
They can go to keithandthegirl.com/game show. And if you're a VIP, you already have a ticket. If you gave to the 2022 Kickstarter, you have a ticket. But all the information is at keithandthegirl.com/game show.
6 p.m. this Sunday is the game show, right? 6 p.m. Eastern time. Where are you from, Billy? Remind me. Tennessee? Is that right?
Yes, East Tennessee. if we're doing it,
we're doing
local and regional. Yeah,
we're doing it. Who's Lieutenant Governor McNally? Do you follow
Tennessee?
Politics of Tennessee?
Oh, yeah. Man, I'm not exactly sure what's happening there because every day I check in, I'm like, well, that's the worst thing I've ever heard. It is
right. I was just reading
good.
a story. The Lieutenant Governor of Tennessee, family values, be straight, no drag shows. He got caught liking a guy's thirst trap, a guy's ass, and he gave it 3 hearts and 3 fire emojis.
That's not an accident. You know what I mean?
That's not an accident.
You don't
wait.
Fire
How do you
emoji
give 3 hearts?
The emojis instead of texting.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah, that's not
had
like,
to let this person know.
Sometimes you're scrolling, you liking stuff, you're not even paying attention.
Right.
You're like, oh, there's a guy's ass, whatever. But when you're like, boom, I'm engaging. I'm gonna think about like that's a heart. I'm gonna put a heart on that ass, right? 2, 3.
And this guy looks like,
and he's older, so it's not easy. He's not navigating. It's not just like second nature to him. This is like I like that.
He was very proud of himself.
Yeah, he's probably thinking. He's like, "What would if I was a young hot ass? What would I like to receive?" And he'd be like, "Hearts, and fires." That's
like my dad getting caught hitting on my ex.
It's
like,
just
I just said it's an ass. He took the time. Everybody should have self-esteem. Heart, fire, fire.
You were attracted to it at one time. What is wrong with you?
And he looks like a dad. He looks like Newt Gingrich a little bit. That chubby, nice, keeps to himself. It seems. White hair just so.
As much as to himself as he wants you to believe. I think it's so cliche at this point, but it just rings, and I think because it's cliche, that's why it rings true every time. That's why it becomes a cliche. But any of those old men like that, the old Christian power men that are like, no gayness, no, and you're like, oh man, you're doing gay stuff, aren't you?
Yeah,
aren't you?
You know how to tap a foot to a beat in a stall, don't you?
It is every time. You're just like, the louder they are, you're like, you did some today, didn't you? You did some gay stuff today. It's the weirdest. Also, I don't understand. It's got to be, to me, it has to be part of their like fetish or like to like the shame part of it, because it's fine to be gay now anywhere. Do you know what?
Look at you. You pause. Yeah, pause. Take it in. Billy Wayne says it's fine.
He started bowing.
But you know what I mean? Like, it's not like 30 years ago where it was like, there's like certain cities you have to be in. Now there's like places in every town. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like,
sure,
it's like
course.
it's not. the whole society, like that part is fascinating to me, where it's like, listen, you just don't have to go to that church anymore, and you can go and just
I
be a
don't know.
gay person over here, and like
I
it
don't think
is.
so, Billy. I don't know. I want to believe that, and it is absolutely so
I
much better than
travel,
30
I
years
would
ago.
say, way outside more rural places than you do on the regular.
100%. Okay, so you're finding that in rural places, it's not a big deal?
I'm not saying it's not a big deal. I'm
Mm.
saying
You're
that
not getting lynched so much. Is what you're saying?
it's not like people, it's like the whole perception of the South. From like when I lived in New York City, I was always fascinated with people that didn't leave New York City. So their perception of me was always, and who I was going to be was always comical, like truly comical. So, and it was like, sometimes some of the most cosmopolitan motherfuckers you would ever meet in Manhattan, and their perception, I was always just like, huh, wow.
What do
Well,
they
maybe
say? What
do you
is the
think maybe that?
perception?
Well, they heard something about cliches,
Exactly. Well, there's like it's like the joke I have, like, what's the South really like? And it's like 8 or 9, 10 coolest cities you've ever been in, full of like very progressive people making their own blending and making their own culture, and the rest is probably what you've heard.
Right.
Like the rest of it is. But what I don't think people realize is like that same kind of hillbilly redneck mentality that makes the people that you think of stubborn, and that same trait is in LGBTQ Appalachian people too. So they have a lot of like, fuck you, I'm this way. And then there's a lot of like, okay, all right then. Like, so like that, because of the internet and stuff, you can't. So all these people, I think my whole point is like all these hateful type people are the minority now.
Wow,
And
that's a it's a
they're
pretty
not the
sparkly
majority. They
view
are
of
the,
America. You know,
well, they're the
Trump's just
loudest. They're the loudest. But so many people are disengaged that aren't
Do
hateful.
I hope this doesn't come out off too snobby, but why do they hate pronouns so much? Do they know what they are?
It's no, what that is, and well, there is the hateful people that are like truly like, you can't be, and then there is that redneck, and it's not hillbilly, it's redneck. It's a redneck thing where it's like you just can't tell them they can't do something, or they have to do something a certain way, and it
They
doesn't
hate
matter
that.
what it is.
Yeah. In the
It's
North, we
just,
love being told what to do, but the South, they
well,
don't like it so much.
it is a certain like, the hell I can't. You can't tell me, and like, and then there's also, I don't know, and this isn't just the South. This is across America with the pronoun thing and the whole woke thing. And if those people that use woke in that hateful tone, if you substitute the phrase "I ain't learning nothing" or "learning new things" with the term woke, that's what they're saying. There's a certain group of Americans that after 17 or 18, the brain's off. I'm done learning new stuff. This is how stuff is.
And but then it's the thoughts are kind of contradicting, aren't they? That everyone is more. I mean, like you're saying that throughout this country, everyone's a little more awake, a little more open-minded, and the minority now are the people who hate. I don't. But then you're also saying that they don't want to be told what to do.
All I know is I wish more people told me what to do.
Okay, what you're talking about is like, there's a difference between society and these regions as a whole and like their political views. Because like, I don't think you understand, like in the South, someone can be openly hateful in what their politics are, and then the person they just disparaged and blah 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 systematically blah, if they're that same person, that same type of human being, it needs help immediately on the side of the road, they'll pull over and help that person, because there is a disconnect there that they don't understand.
So they'll be hateful in their politics and pull over if a black person has a flat or is in trouble, and if the guy turns out to be
Yep.
gay,
Does not matter.
that's
I'm helping another person right now that needs help.
I have not traveled this country in a while.
You just
That
got to be where
is-
other people can't see. It's got to be one-on-one. Then the Jew could be helped.
Well, it's like it's true.
I mean,
A rich person never pulls over and helps anybody. I've never been helped by a rich person in a luxury car. Some person that you think that we all think it pictures, like when I say hateful stuff or do that redneck voice,
Right.
then that's who you picture. That's who stops and helps a stranger.
Right. And they make good lemonade, right?
No, that varies too. See, it's person to person. That's not a universal thing.
All right. I didn't mean to say, oh, you guys make good lemonade, and I'm sorry for putting that out.
But you also in New York City, there's hateful motherfuckers everywhere too. Correct?
Sure.
Yeah.
I saw more open racism in New York City than I've seen in rural areas.
Well, we have a sculpture here in New York that just says hope, HOPE, where Philadelphia has one that says love. I don't like the hope one. Hope you don't get stabbed. Hope you don't get chewed up. Welcome to New York. I'd rather the love one. Not good luck.
Well,
new sculpture in Times Square. Good luck.
Philly, but it's not.
It doesn't seem so
it is,
lovely.
Well, they say
but...
brotherly love, and that love of like I might punch you because I love you.
Oh, the shit I did to my brothers.
You.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. That's how you have to look at Philly. We're like, they do say brotherly love. It doesn't say love. It's
now let's not just put
it says we live really close to each other all the time. So I love you, but I might hit you with a baseball bat.
I love you like a brother because we still share the same bathroom.
It is to say that is very Philly.
we have to get to the controversy, Billy. Though it's not all fun and games today. Okay.
Yeah.
We have to finally put a bow on this topic, and Keith and the Girl listeners know exactly what I'm talking about. The text for drugs.
You can't.
Last time, right? You can't do that. And so I tell you, that's what it is, right? He thought I was a narcan or something. So
I can't tweet about it for sure.
Okay, to be clear, it was only a tweet after it was so ridiculous.
Okay,
so I don't need you putting that in the audience heads. How dare you? How dare you?
Can we reread? Can we revisit the information so that we're all on the same page?
But of course.
Keith, would you like to?
Billy Wayne Davis was on our show, and he was talking about his latest special. Congratulations, by the way, Billy.
Thank you.
He mentioned that he took a DMT pill. Apparently, you get in and out in like 10 minutes. And I'm like, that's what I want.
It's not
I don't
pill.
want to be.
It's not a
what
pill.
Is it? What is it?
You have to smoke it.
You smoke it, but it only lasts like 10 minutes, right?
Yeah. Roughly,
Okay,
I would say 10 to 30, depending on, I think, how many inhalations and the strength of it and all. You know how all that stuff works.
Sure, yeah. So I'm like, okay, I want one of those things. I don't got to puke and vomit and stuff like that. So, Billy was talking about this on a show for about an hour. Mentioned did it with Shane Moss. And so I texted Shane.
You guys guessed that. I didn't say it.
You gave us a wink. You gave us a wink.
Yeah.
Okay. So am I like getting you in trouble by including Shane?
No, I don't know if you know Shane's current show and material, but it's not far-fetched for anyone to be like, was it Shane Moss? Be like, yeah.
Right. So I said, hi, Shane. Keith from Keith and the Girl here. I heard Billy Wayne and Mike Kaplan did DMT pills as opposed to ayahuasca that makes you shit and vomit. I want that, please. And I CC'd them for references. Shane texted, I believe there are some places in DC that sell things like that very openly. I don't know what else to tell you. So right here, I'm ready to kill myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I say thanks.
We didn't say to do that. I don't think Mike or I were like, hey, you should just text him and ask him. We just said that time, that's where we got it. And then you were like, I'll just text him and I'll include Mike and Billy.
I should have just taken it.
I don't know if you're familiar with how anything drug related works, but you just don't
just wait until you get
people. I don't think you should ever CC people that are like, hey, Like it's just
In case Shane's undercover.
Well, everything you did, it was just like, as a prosecutor, it would be like, get them all involved. That is good.
I made it too easy for the cops. I should have texted
It was
separately.
wild to be like.
So you see
it was
these texts?
also, I don't know if you're familiar with like any of those stories where people are like, and then my friend that I hadn't heard from in a while, he just contacted me out of the blue looking for like a big score or something. You're like, oh, that's how they get busted, because he's obviously got in trouble. And then this dude was like, well, I can set these people up. And that's how it, to me, I didn't think that immediately. But then when
thank you.
But when Shane reacted like that, I was like, that is how that works. So,
oh, wow. So you were getting like, as much as Keith looks like a cop, he was feeling like a cop.
Well, it is that being like, hey, I don't think any drug deal was going to go down or whatever. But it is like that one of those things where even as a bit, there is that like, maybe I shouldn't just not. I'm going to back out of the bit here just to be safe.
The way the whole world can be
I don't know
gay
if you're familiar with what's happening in Atlanta, but they are arresting and charging people on RICO stuff for rap lyrics. So it is one of those, right? Just I was doing a fun special where I tell jokes, so I don't even know about.
Avocado is asking, so it's just that he's bad at soliciting for drugs?
That's mostly it. It's just sloppy was what it was. And I don't even know if this is, I'm sure there are YouTube videos of how to do it better, but it was like out of the blue, just to group text 4 people and be like, you guys got that stuff that's illegal? And you're just like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about. I just did a podcast and a special on it, but I don't need this being shown.
How to get it. I don't know how to get it.
So you see, of course, what Shane's typing, but you're just like, I'm not going to get involved. I believe there's places in DC that sell that very openly. Why add that though? Like, why write anything?
I think that was a cool no. You know what I mean?
So I go, thanks, just end it. And then Shane wrote back, smiley face, hope all is well. I would like to try that as well.
That part was where I was like, that's when I got nervous, because I was like, I don't know what's happening.
I don't know what's happening. I go, you never did? Am I sounding crazy? Because I'm trying to let it go. Now you're pushing. Why are you pushing it?
It is.
Just stop. I said, thanks. You say you're welcome. Die in a ditch. That's what you say. And then that's the end of it.
Yeah, I would like some too. I remember that part. That's when I was like, whoa, I don't know what's happening there.
Right. Then I got nervous that I was going to be taken into court, because now he's telling me he wants some. So I said, you never did it? Am I sounding crazy? And Shane said, I had a couple opportunities, but the timing was never right. I am curious. He's a whole different person.
That's where I was like, I don't think this is the dude we're talking about.
I go, what did Billy Wayne do? And then I write, Billy Wayne, what did you do?
Just saying names. Yeah, I think there's a preacher named Billy Wayne, so that's who you're talking about.
And then so Billy answered, I can't remember. It was a while back. You didn't even have to type.
I shouldn't have. No, but I was like, you seemed truly
into it.
Well, you seemed a little exasperated too, and I was like,
yeah, did I?
Yeah, I don't think a federal officer would have reacted the way you would have.
Thank you.
What is happening? Because I think a federal officer would have been like, nah, they know I'm a cop.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Hey, weirdos.
Like, what? Yeah, you reacted like a comedian where it's like, hey. It's like
something's happening here.
It is. You did remind me of like, I was never like a drug, like I didn't do a lot of drugs. I was mostly a drinker in my party days. So like any of the drug code, I was kind of like you, where it was just, I was like, I don't know what the codes are or any of it. Can I just do the thing? I'm not going to tell. We're already in this weird car anyway. Like,
just
how do
give
I
me one
tax-
vomit and give me 2 shit myself.
It
Okay.
is literally, yeah. You're just like, is this? I don't know. And you're like, okay. Yeah, I was. And then you have those friends that are like, you have to say this and you do this. And then that guy over there. And you're like, how did you know that guy over there has drugs? And you're like, he just looked at me weird. And you're like, I don't have this.
You
I
know
don't
what?
have this thing.
That is so fair and such a good point. And I think that Xerxes and I confuse Keith a lot because for a couple of years now, he's like, hey, he's very, very subtle in text. And he's like, hey, can I get a couple of those doohickeys? And we're like, so you want drugs and we will be dropping them off at your place at 5, like, because we're fucking around with him because at that point we felt comfortable talking about weed over text because even
Yeah.
drug dealers were like giving us their menu. And so we're like, no, we're definitely talking about drugs. For a while when I wanted to hang out with Xerxes when we weren't living with each other, I'm like, want to do drugs? And he goes, yeah. And I expect him to show up at my place like 20 minutes later. So I think, you know, he's like, oh, people are now openly talking about it. You came on the show. You said you did this, that, and the next. You got it from someone named Shane, as if we're not, you know, putting the two together because
As
it's
if you didn't thank him in the
Or you
special
just,
at the end.
I was going to say, yeah, if you just don't look in the credits, you couldn't.
right.
Yeah.
So then he goes, oh, I get to talk openly about drugs. And he's like, hey, buddies, all 3 of you are here because, you know, I see you guys as the same. He sees people as drugs. You know what I mean? He's like, these are my pothead psychedelic people. These are the drinkers. You know, he starts putting us into these things. I'm surprised me and Xerxes were in CC just because he's like, look, I got drug friends. Like, you know, like it's allowed to be in this neighborhood, you know?
I've done this with, I've been cool before. See, tell them.
Yeah. Apparently, you guys don't like references.
It's just like everyone's like, none of this needs to be. You brought too many people to this parking lot. This is.
So here's what. So Billy texts. I can't remember. It was a while back, but maybe DC has those things you're looking for. Okay, I'll find.
I don't know
DC.
what that meant either. I don't know.
Right.
What, I thought I was
It means
just
fuck
going
me.
with
That's what it means.
I just thought maybe it was legal there, and he knew something, and I was like, yeah, DC.
Yeah, I should have called you from DC. Now what, Billy? Try Wisconsin.
I can get you weed in DC. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it'd be worth it.
For a while, you had to buy cookies. Do you know that system?
No, I didn't.
You order cookies, they give you weed on the side.
It was the flimsiest thing, and you would order like a $60 giant chocolate chip cookie and then they'd hand you a bag of weed underneath the cookie.
Right. And then you go, "What's this?" And you go, "Just kidding, just fucking around, thanks."
But it was all legal. And they were like,
They would go like this thing. I forgot what, maybe it was cookies in this truck randomly on the side of the road where it was like almost legal to sell weed. So he was like, this size cookie comes with an eighth.
Yes.
This size cookie comes with a half a pound, an ounce, you know? So it was like you buy the size cookie and you're really, yeah.
Should I have called you up on the phone instead?
I don't. I mean, I would have given you the same answer. I was like, I don't know where to.
So how do people ask for drugs?
You mean asking for drugs?
Yeah.
How do people find DMT in their neighborhood?
They just find you, I guess.
Or other drugs.
But definitely DMT.
I think it finds you is the way.
All right. If the universe wants me to have it, universe didn't want me to go to high school parties, apparently. But if the universe wants me to have drugs as an adult, that'll happen.
This reminds me, a few years ago, I wanted to try mushrooms for the first time, right? And Ari Shafir had on his website an entire section devoted to do mushrooms. Here's like the once a year where I do it for sure, so we can all do it together. Like all this shit, all this information.
That Shroom Fest thing. That was a good idea.
Yeah. And so when it came time, and then I looked on his website, I'm like, this guy's the one that's going to have the information and maybe possibly about where to buy it. And he said, where to buy it? Go to your most drug friend or go to the drug friend and say, where do you buy it? So I'm like, well, he's my drug friend now. He's got a website. He's got whatever. So I text him and I'm like, hey, thinking about getting mushrooms. Where should I get? And he goes, ask your drug friend. I'm like, you're my drug friend, Ari.
Right. Like, you are drugs.
Yeah. I just went to your website and you said, do this. And so, but I think at the time he was in LA, didn't know in New York, blah, blah, blah. But now it's just available in stores.
Well, you just got to wait till the store comes to you.
It's not the not the real good stuff.
But
in Oregon, now the last time I did mushrooms was in Oregon, and it's like what's it, decriminalized? there. So
Okay.
that means, it wasn't super illegal there to begin with, but now it's like I went and did this kind of private show. It was like an art show, but then they had a little booth and whatever. It was a private show. And then I did a set and then afterwards. But this dude had a stand there and he had little mushroom drinks and then he had the peanut butter
Chocolate.
cups. And then he had candies, and then he had the actual, just the stems and the whatever and the caps. And I was like, yo, so ideally the rest of my evening, I would like to go like this. And he was like, he handed me a drink, and then he was like, you do this, and then you eat this after this, and then you give this, and if it's not exactly where you want it to be in 15 minutes, you eat this next one. And
like a tasting menu.
Well, it wasn't even the tasting menu. What it was like, I was like, I'd like to be done with the mushroom experience by 12:31 a.m. And then I'd like to go and then sleep. And he was like, oh, and he knew the dosage.
Did it work out exactly like that?
It was the best experience I've ever had.
Oh, where could I do that, Billy? Who?
Eugene, Oregon, and I could actually give you the guy's name, and that's a whole thing. But you need to go to Eugene, Oregon to do that.
I'm already on the way to DC.
It was wonderful. I drank it tasted like mango, and there's something to do with mango, and some of the makeup of mango actually helps activate the psilocybin too. So they say even if you're eating actual mushrooms, you should eat mango with it too, because it helps activate it quicker and everything.
I eat a whole pizza. I get fucked up.
That'll help too. You can sprinkle it on the pizza. That's a good way to do it. Just grind them up and do that.
It sounds gross. I hate that we have to eat our drugs sometimes. I hate that edibles come mostly in candy. I got to sit there the whole day. I've been avoiding candy. I'm like, look at me. I didn't buy those things. Look at me. I didn't say yes when somebody, because I don't need all that sugar. I'm not really craving all that sugar. I don't want it. And it's like, oh, I want to get high. Fuck, I got to eat a fucking Reese's. Just give me a pill.
You don't. It's fat soluble now. Any cannabis is fat soluble, so you don't need the sugar. You can just put it in you can put it in biscuits.
Make it. Put what?
Sure.
The butter? Yeah.
Yeah, you put the butter in the biscuits, and it's like all that stuff is like they're doing a lot more savory. It's you guys are just in New York, so it's like so you're behind on it because you're just getting the trucks and the the carts, and it's nonsense up there right now, and it's fun and it's chaos because it's new. Yeah. But that is the cool part about the West Coast is like everyone's like, we've been doing this for 40 years, and here's how you can do all of it.
Yeah, I can't wait until we catch up. Honestly,
the whole country needs to catch up. It's great.
Yeah, it does.
So Billy says, I can't remember. It's a while back. Maybe DC has those. Please die. That's implied, I said, Billy, God damn it. You said you did it with Shane. And then Billy said, well, I'm losing my mind
that's
right
a
now.
Cop thing to say.
I'm losing my mind now, Billy.
Is that really a cop thing to say?
Well, that's incriminating is what it is. It's like, I don't know if you've ever watched any.
Okay, but it's not like right here I blew it. Do you know what I mean? Already I wasn't getting these drugs. So it really doesn't. So I'm like, all right, fine.
Let me
try this thing.
Sure, not being like, no.
Well, you weren't giving them anyway. I can't remember.
Admitting that I did that.
Billy, goddamn it, you said you did it with Shane, and then Billy wrote, can't remember which Shane it was. Then Shane wrote, ha ha. That's what you're worried about. You're worried about cops, but you got time for a joke to go, ha ha. We all know I was that Shane. That's worth it. You're so fucking scared about the FBI. That's implied. That's implied, and you know it.
Because you're putting our phone numbers in there, and then you're like, this is so-and-so's phone number and his name. And this is... So, no, I'm not going to.
Now, can I ask you if you were peeved or upset in any way? Did you guys have a simultaneous text chain that was just the three of you going, what the fuck is this?
No, it was more fun to be like, I'm not admitting to this, but it's not going to ruin my day. It's not, okay. I'm not even going to bother Mike or Shane with this. This is... But it was just
Kev,
like there was a moment where I was like, Keith, cool it, man.
you can't remember where you had a beautiful epiphany that fame isn't important if it isn't? I said, where can I get mushrooms that kill me right now? Because Lord Jesus. Then Billy wrote, ha 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 ha.
I did laugh. That is what I did.
And then he wrote Oregon.
Yeah, Oregon.
So now I gotta go to Oregon. I got my driver's license just in time. A trip to DC, a little bit of Oregon, and what I hear about Georgia or something.
You should go to. You would like Oregon, I think.
Okay, done.
I'm there
I'll
this
go
weekend.
to Oregon and ask
Portland
around, but don't
on
ask
Saturday.
around. Just wait and hope.
You can ask around in Oregon. You're fine.
It sounds like as long as I'm not by you, you're saying, yeah.
Or text anyone. I still wouldn't text anyone. You just don't want to get it in writing. I don't know. It's the opposite of a contract. Drug deals are the opposite of a contract. Where you're like, you need to get that in writing. Like, you do not need to get that in writing.
All right.
You do not.
Right.
That is.
All right.
Everyone's learning. This is a good day.
So we learned if you know someone who does drugs, hopefully they'll give them to you sometimes. And that's the secret of getting drugs.
Billy, would you be comfortable if we named the show How to Buy Drugs or How to Score Drugs or anything like that?
With Billy Wayne Davis.
We're just no, because I have a 13-year-old that searches the internet sometimes. Just do text etiquette.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Don't click here.
Yeah.
How about that?
That is, yeah. How not to incriminate your friends.
All right. I wanted to do drugs and try this new ice cream. They made a ranch ice cream.
Ew.
I saw it's the Brooklyn company, right? The Van Llewellyn.
Let's see here. Yeah. In honor of National Ranch Dressing Day, the Brooklyn-based Van Leeuwen Ice Cream Company announced a unique partnership with Hidden Valley Ranch, the real stuff, to release a special flavor.
What a coincidence. I'm sorry. There's a ranch day. What's this?
Apparently, yeah, National Ranch Dressing Day.
Is there
Is that on 420 as well?
I use Freedom dressing. Walmart is where the only place you can buy these.
All right. I think Walmart.
Is that true?
Ranch dressing is making shit up. I think they're like, hey, people aren't buying ranch dressing as much as they used to. Now we have a day and Walmart. Avocado is saying, I think Keith needs to apologize.
I know. I saw that too. I thought that was funny.
Apologize to Billy.
You don't have to. It was funny. You didn't
Before
get
you
anything
apologize.
I think we both should apologize because nobody got what they wanted.
Would you like to go first?
I'm sorry.
What could
you
you
don't
have
know
done
how
differently?
to talk to people about drugs.
Can we call the show Totally Legal Drugs?
That's good. That's good.
Okay.
How
And,
do you get?
Okay, can we talk about like we do need to legalize drugs? I don't know. And people are
Of
like, well, how are we going to regulate them? Like, solid point. We don't do that very well either. But I don't know if you noticed, but we did cannabis is mostly legal. And so that kind of destroyed a whole part of the cartel's business. And people were like, well, you know what they did? Now they're in avocados and stuff like that. They're in that business. So they just moved crops. I just think that's pretty fun. I don't know why. I don't.
What are you on now?
Right now?
Yeah.
I'm not on anything.
All right.
Me neither.
Coffee, caffeine.
Oh, shit.
Does that count?
Sorry, guys. I can't get nothing
Eggs.
out of it. Okay. Okay. Over. Okay. Out. All right. Don't mind that.
So boring now. I'm not the guy to come after.
Well, then I apologize for thinking we were friends.
Literally, I had to prove a point 4 or 5, 6 years ago to an ex. I took drug tests for a while, and sometimes I would have to retake them because I was so well hydrated.
What do you mean?
Is that like when
What?
you take a drug test, a piss test,
Right.
you have to be like, there has to be like bad stuff in there. Do you know what I mean? Like you have to have like, so they have to. So if you're like in shape and you've been exercising and fit and you're just trying to stay hydrated, it's hard for them. They think you're beat a drug test. So you have to be a little
It
dehydrated.
glitched a little right on that word that feels important. What's the last sentence you said?
You have to be a little dehydrated to take a drug test because they need you to be like, because like, when you're really hydrated, you're constantly just pissing out and you don't have a lot of waste because your body's absorbing it and you're eating healthy and there's not a lot of stuff in you. So if you're
So
super
you were
healthy,
so healthy that your
was
girlfriend didn't believe you.
no, it was an ex. It was an ex spouse, is what it was. Like, why would I go to court about with the next girl? I don't understand. I don't know how you
Oh,
knew
court.
it. So it was like a
Okay.
court
Oh,
thing to
wow.
prove a thing because there were some accusations, and I was like, cool. All right. I'm like, I run miles upon miles every day. So you just couldn't. So I was like, sure, I'll take some need drug tests once a month, anytime you want. And then what happened was like I was in such good shape that the guy administering the drug test was like, all right, so I'm gonna need you to like,
Eat a Twinkie
not
in front of me.
Yeah.
just kind of be like, could you drink coffee instead before so you got something, so there's something. He's like, you're just super healthy right now. And I was like, what a motherfucker. Where I was like,
What a great way to say that you're in the best shape of your life. This is the most humbling, magical, beautiful.
6 years ago. It's not today.
Okay. You're
But I
dehydrated
appreciate
now?
I've been drinking coffee all morning. I'm just But it was like I just remember just thinking this is more to prove a point than a court thing. You know what I mean? Like we were going through the courts, but this was to prove a point. I wasn't court ordered or anything. Then it did occur to me like if you're just like trying to like the court did order take all these drug tests and stuff because you got in trouble and you have bettered your life, you could still fail it because you're doing too good.
That's weird.
And that's when you're like, oh, this system is wrong every
That sounds
angle.
like what a narcissist would say. They get caught and they're like, that's what the system will do. I'm so good. It's going around.
You have to come
180.
back and take the test. And what's frustrating is you have to pay for the test again. That's what's.
How much are these tests?
They're like $100, $200 a pop. Yeah. Anywhere from $80 to $200, depending on, how many types of
It's
things
more
they test
expensive
for.
than the drug.
Oh, it's not to get people to stop doing them. It's a capitalism thing.
Well, everything
It
is.
always is.
But
It
yeah.
always fucking is.
Well, the guy administering the drug test was this older man, and he was like, yeah, he's like, I had to close the DUI side of my business because Uber it just destroyed that business.
Oh, poor guy.
And I was like,
Sorry.
oh, it's sad.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Oh, wow.
Well, I would like
but
to,
he was
Billy.
just like saying it like it's a thing. So I was just like, oh, this is all awful. You're not helping anyone. So
I would hereby like to apologize for Billy for making him think there's a chance that I took boot camp in the police corps and decided to get him on the DMT charges. And
once again, you still don't understand how.
No, I understand.
Like,
yeah, I understand that
you
your
would be
friends...
an informant. See, they would have you pinched. We're not. We don't think you were an actual cop,
right?
But what you would be,
they
is
caught me right
a wire or something. So,
and I'm sorry you think that, because obviously you have all your friends are pieces of shit that would turn on you in a second. But so
comedians, I don't know. You interview them every day.
All right. Well, if
he couldn't even defend it. He was like, "Okay,
you're right. You're right. Well, who the fucking trust comics? You're right. All right." And thank you though for calling me a comic.
You think their freedom is at stake? You think that they wouldn't fuck you over? You think a stand-up comedian is like, nah,
sure.
That's my.
No, he's a
like,
stand-up
they'll fuck
guy.
you over for a night at the stand.
Do you ever get? Do you ever buy drugs from like a drug dealer, like getting in someone's car and you're thinking like, this could be the day? I like drugs so much that I'm risking. This could be the day. No,
I haven't.
Okay.
There's stores here, and then I know growers now, and that's not illegal either. And I can grow it. That's legal. So it's like, and like I said, like I don't drink. I just smoke weed, and then probably once or twice a year I'll eat mushrooms if I need to like cry and get all my emotions out. So
well, Billy, I promise you that never, no matter what.
I don't believe this now for sure.
Well, I don't know when the time comes, Billy.
I know. That's why I'm like, don't say never about drugs.
Right, we won't say never. Who the fuck knows, you know? if I'm backed in a corner, I mean, what the fuck am I going to say?
I'm just never going to get them for you ever. So that's just...
every time Billy goes, and you just blew it just then. Like, what? Just now.
But every now and then I'm like, he's cool. And then you'll just say one more thing. I just can't. I
was just about to. I was putting on my coat and everything.
Just like reach it in my butt. You just put it back in.
Other ice cream flavors that this Brooklyn company made, Grey Poupon was a big one last year.
Oh, so they're just sponsored.
Right.
According to Hidden Valley, that ice cream? Like
What's
that kind of weird. I love ice cream. It's my favorite. It's like I quit sugar for 4 months and went back because of ice cream. So, but that I don't need those. I don't even like coffee ice cream.
Ben and Jerry's hardly ever blows it, so I tried oatmeal. I don't even like oatmeal. This is some of the best ice cream I've ever had. Their oatmeal. In fact, they throw in chocolate flakes because they thought we weren't getting enough. That just gets in the way. It's so good. Wow. So I don't know. Maybe it can't really. It's got to have a hint of ranch. It can't be like too much ranch.
Just like
I am curious.
Well, my problem is I don't like ranch and I don't like mustard, so I'm not about to try it in ice cream form. If I don't like it on my salad, holy shit!
You don't they're like, oh, you don't.
Not at all. I don't like any condiments except for hot sauce. No ketchup, no mayo.
No. Many things are made with mustard, though.
I was gonna say, right? That's the seed, and they sneak it in there a lot.
They sneak it in. There's a lot of. I don't like the consistency and the strong flavor of it. So if I eat it by accident, I'm not gonna. But I won't put mustard on a sandwich, even though I wish I liked it. I know it improves it, the tanginess, but there's something about it that if I do taste it, I don't like it.
Do you like mayonnaise?
No, but I know it's in a lot of things
I don't like mayonnaise probably either.
Eat. I don't like it.
But I understand that too. I don't put it on stuff, but I do understand that I can eat it. But mustard is. Do you like corn dogs?
No.
Okay.
I don't get it.
Never mind. Then
he just gets up and walks away. This is dumber than the DMT conversation. You don't like corn dogs?
It is. Well, I love mustard. Like mustard is probably my favorite of the condiments. So that's why I was like genuinely just like I just when someone doesn't like a thing that you love,
it makes sense.
As like a human being thing, I'm always just like, well, that's so cool that you do not like it, and I love it. I just think that's
I'm like, oh, I know I'm wrong because it makes my life harder. Like food can taste so much better so many more times, and I could buy so many more things because sometimes sandwiches just come with mayo. They just come with mustard, and it has everything I like, and it ruins it with that, and I can't eat it anymore.
I don't like ketchup on a lot of stuff. I think
I don't eat ketchup.
Ketchup, I don't.
I like that you said on a lot of stuff. How many things are there?
Everything.
They put it on hamburgers and hot dogs, and sometimes they put it in meatloaf and things. It's just like no, it's just sugar is what it is, and I think that's mostly what people realize is like you just like sugar. You don't actually like the thing you're eating. You just like sugar.
No judgment on that. Who doesn't like sugar?
It is, but I understand that it's a. I had another.
Now he's looking at me different, kind of like how you.
No,
he's looking at you different now. He's looking at me.
No, I love it. It is like it's truly fat, like because like I know what I was gonna say. My toddler got a hold of vinegar chips because he likes chips. Or he's only had chips, and he only knows chips as well.
Where does he get his drugs, by the way?
He's good. I don't ask him. He gives like a look when you're like, "Hey, what are you on?" He's like, "You need to mind your business."
Did my best guy still working on it? But
vinegar,
okay, out
chips, and it was just like he was like, ah! And it hit me. I was like, I was the same way. And then one day as an adult, I had vinegar chips and remember being like, this is good. But that's just like a weird thing. Your palate changes and all that. But the mustard thing, I'm worried about you. That is so good.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I should be kicked out of the country. You know, I hold on to my
you
second
shouldn't-
passport
Right now,
until I
you
can.
shouldn't say that. You shouldn't just. I've made a little Jew. I've married to a little Jew. They're just. My wife pointed out. She's like, "Did you know there's only 15 million of us?" And I was like, "That is not many, honey. That is."
I guess it's not many. Is it too many, or what are you saying, honey? Oh, not many. Okay.
8 billion, 15 million. You look at that and you're like, "Oh no, oh no."
I
You
see
think I
15
shouldn't have
million
given up?
anything. I'm like, that's a lot, you know.
Maybe
No,
I
it's
shouldn't
all right.
have given up Judaism. I'm fucking with our numbers.
I think you're
How-
still counted. There's your mom's. It's the whole mom's vagina thing, right?
That's true. My mom does have a vagina. She's one of those. Yeah,
Was she Jewish? Was there a vagina
she
Jewish?
was. Yeah,
All
vagina
right, then you
Jewish.
got
Yeah.
it. See,
I am vagina Jewish. Yeah, yeah.
That
Oh
is.
no, I know. I've talked to Jews, and I'm like, well, I'm not. I was raised Jewish, but I'm atheist now. And they're like, no.
Yeah, I know it is. It's
Legit. They go, I
Yeah.
don't
That's-
think so.
there's
They're like,
to
you're
your
always going to
face.
be a
Like,
Jew.
no, you're not.
No. They'll argue right with. They're like, no, that's not a thing. You don't get to do that. He goes, but and there's because I just thought of someone who did it.
I know you pictured the man that's doing it. Yes,
But I also pictured the woman who did it. It's everybody. But I just went from person to person, and as I landed on that, it was a person. But they go, you know, when they put people on the train, they didn't ask if they were atheist. You're going on the train. You know, that's what they get into the Holocaust with me.
It's
and
a
I'm
tough.
Like, all right.
I mean, great
Yeah.
negotiators. I rarely win in my house. It is a trained. I'm not. And I know I'm speaking in stereotypes, but these are good stereotypes, and it's very true. It is negotiation skills. Even like they'll go dark too, where you're like, son of a bitch, I can't even argue with that one.
We like to argue.
I bet they
way
can
too
get
much.
drugs. I bet they could get me to admit that I have drugs.
Text his wife.
Thank you. What's her number?
She'll listen. She'll be in touch.
BWD Tour, bwdtour.com. That's where you want to go. You want to check out Billy Wayne's albums. You want to check out his tour dates. What's that, Billy?
Tour.
Tour.
Everyone makes fun of that. You have an accent.
Thank you.
You.
Is that what throws you? The cop accent?
It's not a cop accent.
Thank you.
It is my favorite thing when I go to New York. People are like, your accent. I'm like, yours too, motherfuckers. Like, y'all are.
Yeah.
People are asking, is your background from the Squidbillies?
It's like, what do you mean? Like, was I raised on that or did I work there? Yeah, I worked. I've done.
Yeah.
I was a real character there. I did some other random voices, and then I was consulting producer, which means
excellent
writer without credit.
Fuck yeah.
Do you think that you'd be able to hear where I'm from? Do I have an accent to you?
Yeah.
Can you hear New York in me, or like foreigner New York?
No, I just hear New York. I would have to live. I think okay.
Can I help you with the? Go ahead.
I can tell because I've traveled so much, like where people like regions. Now I can't go now in the South. I can probably go state to state, probably like even regions within.
He just froze. All right,
I can
lost them.
Oh no!
Okay, we're back now. Okay. Yeah.
But like I was saying, like regionally, like I can probably tell where you're from just by region. Broader regions, but if I go to the South, I can be like, you're from this state and this part of the state, you're from this part, and people are like, holy shit. It's like Galifianakis, when I first heard him speaking, or when he's first getting famous, or like comedians of comedy and that stuff, I was like, oh, he's from like Appalachia part of, and they're like, yeah, he's from Western North Carolina. How did you know that? And I was like, because I'm from Eastern Tennessee. He's just from the other side of the mountain. So it's like I could hear it. But yours, yeah, lived in start to picked it up too, where you could hear like the Bronx is different than Brooklyn and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Where I was like fascinated,
No,
but I got
liked
made
it.
fun of when I. This was shocking. I didn't realize it. When I went to 90 miles from my house where I grew up, I went and played junior college baseball, and people from 90 miles away made fun of my accent, and I was like, "Y'all, I'm from an hour from here." So it's like they go, "Where are you from, man?" I'm like, "An hour from here." Like, you have one too. It was just that's just like so.
Well, I got to tell you something, Billy. We do like that. You know how you can pick up different regions where people are from. The department can really use you. So let's talk later. Billy Wayne Davis once
I'll
again.
be
The
a
website.
detective. That seems fun.
I thought it was fun, but
I don't want to do a patrol work.
It's not as easy as it looks. Believe me.
I will let people get away with a lot of stuff. If I would get fired pretty quick.
Well, this is the great Billy.
Like, hey, this is how I saw you were doing that. Can you not do that?
Billy Wayne Davis, good friend of mine, unless life makes other plans. You know what I mean?
You'd be a good cellmate until you got me hurt.
Thank you. Thank you. Billy Wayne, God bless you. What should people know? Where's your next tour dates at?
I am in Portland, Oregon this Saturday.
Oh shit.
So I could probably talk on the phone if you need there on Saturday.
Okay, now we're talking, but I think I'm over it.
Okay. And then I'm in Houston, Texas in April, and Louisville, and I may be coming to New York at the end of April too. So
all right,
say hi to you guys in person.
Excellent.
If you don't even do that anymore, do you?
See people?
You don't record in person, do you?
We don't record in person.
That was always fun.
But we could still see you.
Okay, we'll do that.
Just
we'll
say
come
we're at.
to
We'll
your
drive
show.
by.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Let's do that.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll give you drugs at my show, Keith.
I'll give you drugs at your show.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
perfect.
Keith. Yes.
Hold on. Oh, they just
I
said perfect too. All right, excellent. Ed and Don did it.
I'm I'm always
See
gonna give you
hello,
drugs.
Billy Wayne. I'm free. I'm out.
Okay.